David Dobrik is in some more trouble, and so is Natalie after new documents have been made public from the lawsuit with Jeff Wittek. We're kind of seeing what David and Natalie have to say about everything and some evidence that has been made public. We're talking text messages, paperwork, conversations of other plans that David had for that big comeback video. We are going to be breaking down all of this new information and much more. So let's get into everything. Also though, I kind of did want to throw out there, because I've been doing these intros. If you guys have been watching for a while, I didn't always used to do these intros. If I was like, let's get into the spill sesh, because it is kind of like we are spilling, it's a sesh. How do we feel? I don't know. Sound off in the comments, but let's get into everything. Like I said this week, documents from the David Dobrik and Jeff Wittek lawsuit were made public, giving more insight to David and Natalie's defense. After seeing what their side has had to say about all of this, there's been a ton of criticism towards them online, as people have found what they've had to say ridiculous in many ways. From what we know from the video of the accident, Jeff's documentary, and things Jeff has said on his podcast, the Vlog Squad went out to Utah to film this big comeback video for David's YouTube channel. During COVID, he wasn't posting vlogs, and he was finally ready after some time to come back and post videos again, but he was wanting this really big return video to happen. Jeff, Natalie, and Todd were learning how to skydive for the video, but before they could shoot that part and finish their skydiving lessons, David had another idea, which was to drive this excavator into a lake and have his friends be spun around in this lake. At some point that morning while filming, Jeff sent David a meme that 50 Cent posted on Instagram where someone was swinging around on an excavator, and Jeff sent this because it was just so crazy that he posted this and they were kind of doing something like this. So the day goes on, they're filming for David's crazy video, and at first the Vlog Squad members were on floats on the lake and they were just being spun around. Then later on we see them ditch the floats and David is driving the machinery as Corinna Kopp is swinging around holding on to just the rope. And when she gets off, she makes this comment about how David always takes things way too far because he was starting to spin around faster. Jeff then hops on and David takes things way too far, going way too fast. The machine stops, Jeff slams into the machinery and lands into the water. He's taken to the hospital, and we now know that he's had to have several surgeries following the accident. At first, Jeff kept the accident to himself, but it eventually leaked onto the internet, and he was still kind of friendly with David, but over time, David was showing his true colors, and it's been reported that David tried to blame Jeff for the accident, not help him pay for medical bills, and also just wasn't a supportive friend in the times that followed the accident. It's led us to now where Jeff is suing David, which is what fans have been telling him to do from the start, as they felt that he really deserved compensation for what happened and that David needed to be held accountable for how reckless he was in this situation and how he has been very reckless with the Vlog Squad in general, having his friends do things for his videos and not even having proper safety measures taken. On October 4th, several documents were made public, including the declaration of David Dobrik, which, in talking about Jeff in this, it says, though he did not routinely receive monetary compensation from the company, as is the case for influencers, Wittek received non-monetary compensation in the form of increased viewership and engagement, which would in turn increase his opportunities to receive brand deals, sponsorships, and appearances. In or around April 2020, I spoke to Devin Michael Graham, PKA, Devin Supertramp, Devin, and asked for his assistance in filming a recreation of his prior video where an individual would swing on an inner tube tied to an excavator. On June 25th, 2020 at 11:15 a.m., Wittek sent me an Instagram video recently posted by the rapper 50 Cent, which consisted of a man holding onto a rope with his bare hands that was attached to an excavator, then being swung until he falls off. I did not see it when it was sent, but I did see it hours later on the same day. I declare under penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of California that the foregoing is true and correct. Now, the summary judgment was also made public, and this is what David and Natalie's side is saying about the situation. Jeff will be responding to this at a later date, but what's been made public from Natalie and David's side is them saying that Jeff had around 60,000 subscribers in 2018, and that changed once he, as they put it, commenced his employment with the company, aka he joined the Vlog Squad. They talk about how he was in at least 40 videos on the channel and skyrocketed in popularity and has more than 3 million subscribers right now. It's once again brought up how he was not given monetary compensation, but he did receive compensation in the form of increased viewership, engagement that led him to brand deals, and more. And that seems to be their way of saying, well, we didn't pay him money, but he sure got these things. The accident is then talked about in more detail, as it says, in or around April 2020, David Dobrik individually and on behalf of company planned a social media comeback and had solicited the help of several collaborators, including Wittek, to take part in filming. The comeback video was to consist of 5 different activities to be shown on one single episode on company's YouTube channel. In or around April 2020, Dobrik spoke to Devin Michael Graham, pka Devin Supertramp Devin, about the comeback video and asked for his assistance on one of the activities. Devin was to assist in the first activity, which was a recreation of a video previously made by Devin years prior, where an individual would hang onto an inner tube that was tied to an excavator and swing. The second activity involved a group skydiving video in which Wittek was slated to participate. In preparation, the company paid $3,099 for Wittek to attend skydiving school in Texas. The company also covered Wittek's travel and accommodation for the same. Production for the first activity took place on June 25th, 2020 at Lake Utah in Provo, Utah. As with previous videos, the company oversaw all aspects of production, including without limitation, scheduling and location, content subject matter, creator participation, filming, editing, and distribution. The excavator was rented by Devin from Dirt Gear Co. LLC. In addition to all production-related expenses, the company covered without limitation Wittek's travel, lodging, transportation, and food. Wittek was also paid $1,500 for his services. Consistent with the company's instruction, Wittek arrived at Lake Utah at approximately 10 a.m. on June 25th, 2020. At 11:15 a.m., Wittek sent Dobrik an Instagram video recently posted by the rapper 50 Cent, which consisted of a man holding onto a rope with his bare hands that was attached to an excavator, then being swung until he falls off. Wittek alleges that rather than proceeding with the first activity as planned on June 25th, 2020, defendants started soliciting people to get on the excavator holding onto a rope with their bare hands, and that rope would be attached to the excavator. Wittek alleges that defendants engaged various individuals to recreate this stunt, and in fact, these individuals participated in the stunt without issue. Wittek then alleges that he was tasked with going on the excavator as well. After Wittek went onto the excavator holding onto the rope with his bare hands, he alleges that defendants began using the excavator at unsafe speeds in a circle, and when defendants realized this, defendants slowed down the excavator, and Wittek alleges that defendants intentionally and noticeably slowed the excavator down too quickly, which caused Wittek to be struck to the excavator. Wittek suffered injuries and was taken to the hospital. On or about July 10th, 2020, a workers' compensation claim was filed with the company's insurance carrier, ProSite Specialty Insurance. Later, it's mentioned how this insurance played a role in this writing. WC Carrier sent a letter to Wittek stating that it had received notice of the claim. On August 26, 2020, Natalie Mariduena messaged Wittek and his assistant, Ivan Ruiz, stating, hey, insurance just provided me with a whole list of general docs and specialty surgeons that are covered if you choose to use them and whatnot. Wittek then responded with, oh nice, thank you. On the topic of insurance, it was also brought up these series of questions that Jeff had to answer relating to workers' compensation back in 2020. The document says, on September 10th, 2020, during the insurance carrier's subsequent investigation, Wittek was asked a series of questions relating to workers' compensation, to which on September 15th, 2020, Wittek, by and through his assistant, Ivan Ruiz, provided the following responses regarding his employment status. Question: as an independent contractor, was there a written contract between Mr. Wittek and David Dobrik LLC? If not, how was the agreement made for this June 25th, 2020 assignment, which led to the injury? Has Mr. Wittek worked for David Dobrik LLC in the past? Wittek's response: there was no written contract, however, our engagements are never formally documented because we work together so often and frequently and are friends. David called to ask me if I would partake in filming his video and that we would need to fly out to Utah on June 24th, 2020, in which I agreed. I have worked with David frequently in the past for the past year and a half since early 2019. Question: how was Mr. Wittek paid for this assignment, i.e. check, direct deposit, cash? Does he anticipate receiving a W-2 tax form versus W-9 tax form for the earnings? I was paid via direct deposit and anticipate filing W-9. What was the agreement between Mr. Wittek and David Dobrik LLC on this assignment? Was Mr. Wittek permitted to complete the assignment as he wished, or was he given direction by David Dobrik LLC? David Dobrik LLC was supervising on the production. Myself and David agreed how we were to proceed with the video and executed it as planned. However, when operating the machinery, my grip slipped and I fell into the machinery, injuring my body. As you read here, in this insurance paperwork, it seems as though Jeff is saying that he lost his grip and fell into the machinery, not that David had injured Jeff. But it seems that this is something that Jeff is claiming was forged, that Natalie wrote about him and signed as if this was coming from Jeff, but Jeff is claiming that he never said this. He never. Ethan Klein reacted to the lawsuit on H3 on Friday and was reading this part and was just questioning why Jeff would ever say this. And so Jeff wrote in to say that he didn't write this, that Natalie had forged his signature and these statements.
Why would he even write that if he knew what they were looking for? Me and David agreed on how we would proceed. It should be like, this is David's thing. He told me what to do and I did it.
Yeah, but he was too deep into the whole...
That's what I mean.
...grip that David had on everybody.
Yeah, he was
loyal.
He was in his ear like, this is going to ruin me. You got to do this. You got to tell that.
I think nowadays he would have answered this differently, but...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Myself and David agreed with how we would proceed with the video and execute it as planned. However, when the operating machinery, my grip slipped and I fell into the machinery, injuring my body. September 25th, carrier made payments totaling $55,000.
Oh, Jeff's in the chat. He just said Natalie wrote this.
Mm.
She wrote what?
I'm not sure.
What we're reading?
His statement?
So Natalie wrote this and forged my signature.
Holy fuck, bro.
Whoa, that's a bomb, Jeff.
And this is something that he talked about in the past, revealing to Trisha that Natalie had forged his signature on this.
When that comes up and it's a paper that is in Natalie's girly bubble handwriting, it's definitely my.
What's it
I
say?
write like chicken scratch.
Yeah.
So you know my signature. It looks terrible.
Oh, she forged your signature.
Yeah.
Actually.
And said that I was driving the crane. David had nothing to do with it.
I mean, that's like a serious crime to forge someone's signature.
I can't wait for trial.
I mean, that's actually wild. Have you talked about that?
Just with you right now.
Holy sh! That's wild. That's wild.
We're spilling the tea.
I mean,
I might be fucking up my lunch.
but no.
They later seemed to claim in their statement that Jeff had been successful writing. Jeff has and continues to enjoy unbridled success in the form of increased engagement and monetization opportunity, as Wittek currently has 3 million subscribers. I guess this is their way of trying to paint the situation as not a negative, but obviously having followers and being successful doesn't really change the fact that this accident happened and he has lifelong injuries because of it. Now, a lot of evidence was made public, one of which is Devin from Devin Supertramp's deposition, where he actually details the stunts that David wanted to do for his big comeback. He says, they wanted 5 different things, and most of them were like, I can't do that. I'm not capable of anything with that. For example, one of them was slip and sliding out of an airplane, which we had done before with Canon. We did like a big project with them and they wanted to build a slip and slide out of an airplane. I'm like, that's not my specialty. I can't do anything with that. So I'll send you to the right people who we did that video with. In talking more about what David wanted for this video, he said one of them was tracoing behind or inner tubing behind a traco, and then another one, which they were going to shoot right after that one, was a slingshot bungee jump, is what they call it. It's where someone is hooked to a bungee and it swings them back and forth. It's in someone's private property. So that was one of the 3 videos that they were going to do. I'm not sure the other 2, what they decided they were going to do, but I was only going to help as far as gather a couple pieces for them with the Traco video. I'm still stuck on the slip and slide out of an airplane, you guys. David really had some sick ideas for this, truly. He was just looking for more and more ways to possibly hurt his friends, honestly. And they asked Devin, did the bungee shoot ever happen? He said nope, because Jeff got hurt. Truly, it wasn't ever going to end until someone got hurt, and that's just sad. Now, another piece of evidence that was made public was a text message to Natalie in regards to Jeff that has now gotten her some backlash for her response. The text read, "Hi Natalie, I hope you're doing well. I'm reaching out because Jeff has a surgery scheduled on the 23rd. Plastic surgeon's office is asking for a deposit up front. Who should I coordinate with to handle this?" She wrote, "Hi, so sorry, got caught up in yesterday. What's your email? I'll connect you with our accountant who handles the insurance claim. Also, is Jeff 100% committed to getting this next surgery? I just worry it's too soon. He looks so good right now as is." So people have just been looking at that "he looks so good right now as is" statement and just been like, oh my God, like why does she have to add that? But this is just so wild to read through all of this, especially now that Jeff has come out to talk about that one part being forged. I mean, truly, it's insane. This case just gets more and more ugly for David and Natalie, and everyone really is just rooting for Jeff in all of this, truly. But as of right now, that's what's come out and been said about everything. I want to know what you guys think about all of this in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys.